From that perspective, then, I'm happy to introduce to you our speaker for this morning. And our speaker for this morning is Ivan Andersen. He is a co-founder together with me and Trevor Mel, as well as another friend, Gavin Julian, of the Chamber of Commerce. And we've got a whole lot of activities that's coming out of it. We'll talk about it towards the end of the meeting. But Ivan's topic, and Ivan, you can then just basically introduce yourself to say why you specifically find this topic so important. And his topic will be measurement, the why, the what, and the when. Over to you, Ivan.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jasper, and good morning to everybody. As Jasper said, I've been part of the woodwork since the beginning. Pardon the pun there, Jan. So yeah, nothing in reference to to your business, but the framework of the chamber and setting up. But just a little bit of background, and I certainly don't want to go on for 10 or 15 minutes, Jasper. To be perfectly honest, I want this to become quite interactive, and let's chat about it. But just to let you know where I'm coming from and what my background is. I've been in the IT space for over 30 years. My specialization in that area is fully integrated enterprise resource planning systems. And as such, I've got to know a fair amount about businesses. I tend to work with medium-sized enterprises, typically entrepreneurial run, work with the owners, the executives, the directors of those businesses. And we get into customizing the solutions specifically to create effectiveness and efficiency within their businesses. So business processes, business rules, and business measurement are an area that I've worked with for a very long time. So I have some experience and some background. What it means, as Jasper says, in terms of going forward in the new economy, well, I'm sure lots of the fundamentals will still apply, but maybe the ways we do these things need to change. And I think that's for me what it's going to come down to. So business measurement, what is it? Well, there's the old cliche, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. But the question is, what are you measuring and why are you measuring it and when are you measuring it? I think too many people sort of look at the bank statement at the end of the month and say, do I have enough money to pay my debts and perhaps survive? That's their primary measurement of their business. They might look at their financial statements once a year, and that's 6 months after everything's finished. What does that really mean? What can you actually do about those measurements? They don't, in my mind, add a huge amount of value to the actual process, the efficiency and the effectiveness. And I think efficiency and effectiveness are two very key words in this play. There's an old saying that, effectiveness is doing the right things and efficiency is doing things right. So the question is, you can do a lot of things right, but are you doing the right things? And that for me is very much a fundamental aspect of measurement. You can be measuring all sorts of things, but are you actually measuring the right things in your business? What are the key indicators in your business that actually show that you're on track, that you're performing, that you can adjust, you can adapt because you're not performing? How are you measuring those things? When are you measuring those things, and what are they? One of the fathers of ERP and manufacturing consulting is certainly in my mind, Goldratt. He gives the example of a production environment being measured on output. Now, so what happens? If the sales aren't happening, output simply grows from the factory. You build stock, you build a liability. You're actually not being effective. The production people might be being efficient. They might be meeting their targets. They might be producing what they've been asked to produce, but are they producing the right things that are required by the market when the market requires them, rather than simply building stock in the factory? And you can use that analogy in just about any business. What is your stock in trade? How do you actually deliver? What are you delivering and why are you delivering it? So another one of my old favorites is a simple formula which I used many years ago when I was in a different industry. And that is 15, 5, 4, 3, 1, 20. Now, if you know what that means, anyone know what that means? 15, 5, 4, 3, 1, 20? Okay, so it's a typical sales formula. What it says is if I make 15 calls, I'll get 5 appointments. Out of those 5 appointments, 4 people will actually be there when I get there. 1 person will actually buy. and I could get 20 referrals. So that's the measurement. So if I can actually start working on that kind of measurement and develop that measurement for my business, that's very relevant to the kind of activities that I perform, kind of activities my people perform. It's a live measurement, it's an active measurement, and it tells me whether I'm heading in the right direction or not. So, what is your 15, 5, 4, 3, 1, 20? And can you actually identify that in your business, and how do you start to measure? So yeah, as I said, I don't want to waffle on too long. I think I've put some basic ideas out there. I'd love to hear any questions or thoughts or inputs on measurement. What are you doing in your business to measure? How are you measuring? What are the key elements that you focus on to make sure that your business is actually moving forward, especially under these changed environments? What are the kind of activities that you're engaged in? Are you simply sitting back and hoping that things are going to go back to the way they were before? Well, personally, I don't believe that's going to happen. I think we're in a changed business environment. We're in a changed world. And I think we need to change the way we're doing things materially. I mean, how many, Johan's just said at the start of the session, this is his first time on this kind of format in this environment, this technology. Johan, whether you're making wooden furniture or whether you're selling internet technology, I think, these are the kinds of environments you've got to start engaging in. We've had a period now of, almost 10 months since lockdown started. As the chamber, we moved straight into the virtual environment at the start of lockdown. Wisdoms, as you can see behind me, one of the other businesses that I'm involved in, and Your Partnerships Global, which is a global networking operation, have been things that we've engaged with over that period. I've personally done in excess of 250 Zoom sessions since the start of lockdown. That's hosted them. And recorded them. I've also been, engaged in a large number of other sessions where I've simply been an attendee, and we've connected around the world, absolutely, fully globally connected, just in that very short space of time. We've run a number of trade fairs and seminar type conferences in that period. We've had speakers from New Zealand, from Bali. In fact, our speaker from Bali is with us this morning, so Scotty, all the way from Bali. We've had people from Perth, from Iowa, United States, from the UK, from Bahrain, from the Arab Emirates, from Ghana, from around the globe. And that has all been made possible simply by a change in attitude and a change in the way we're actually operating. So, and that's been driven by looking at how we run our businesses and how we need to change to engage in those businesses. And it's created some wonderful opportunities for us as well. One of the events we did was at the end of last year with a UK operation that specializes in the trade exchange world. So if you know anything about trade exchange credits, it's big business around the world. This particular operation has 8,000 members in the UK alone, and is connected to over 80,000 businesses around the world. So the question then becomes, how do we leverage those opportunities? How do we leverage those connections? And what are the kind of activities that we're performing to do that? So I think I'm going to leave it there. So Jasper, I'm going to hand back to you, and you can take the questions and comments from the floor.